7th Army Support Command Chorus. It was somewhere around, I think, July of 1964, when the chorus was officially named 7th Army Chorus. The vision for the Soldiers Chorus was General William Harris. On January 2nd, 1963, he said to his G1, "I want you to form a 50-man soldiers chorus. I want it to perform on April 19th, and I want it to be the best in all of Europe." That started from absolute scratch. They put out notices all over the support command, which, as I recall, was about 50,000 troopers at the time. And the general said, "You can have anyone in that 50,000 men." The chorus members were chosen first, or they auditioned, and the basses had one song, I've forgotten what it was, and the tenors, maybe it was Old Danny Boy or something like that, I can't remember what it was. February 18th was the audition, formal audition. So we all came down to Mannheim, to Taylor Barracks, and legend has it, that it was thousands of people tried out.
And there was about 200, 250 guys that were auditioning.
And we tried out probably 250 of us, and they picked the top 50.
It seemed to me like there were, well, at least 100, at least with that group that we were auditioning with.
And I've heard even from among some of the original guys that it was in the hundreds. I recall it and have written it before that it was about 150. The tenors, maybe it was Old Danny Boy or something like that, I can't remember what it was.
Galloway Bay was the song we auditioned on at that time.
And baritones and basses had one song to sing. It was Old Shenandoah.
The song that I chose to audition with was Galway Bay.
And I came down to actually audition as a director, and met my competition was a young lieutenant, handsome, tall, who happened to have a master's degree in choral conducting from Indiana U, Carl Bond, Lieutenant Carl Bond. I knew he was going to get the job. He was the right man for the chorus in those early days. A very strong musician and a singer, and he was just a terrific leader for the chorus. And I said, you're going to need an administrative officer as well, and somebody to go ahead and do the PR and work with the television and records, and I'll be a training officer, and we can make sure that these guys are militarily set and and everything, and I sing first tenor. And they said, "Oh, well, okay, we'll have two officers instead of one." Seems like at the end of the day they did know, and then the general sent actual orders out to the units and said, "Okay, you're going to release this person." March the 12th was the first rehearsal at Taylor Barracks. From the very get-go, Lieutenant Bond insisted on excellence, and we only had 30 days to do that. And indeed, we achieved a high standard, probably not the highest, and because that takes time, but we did a very, very high standard. And on April the 19th, 1963, the 7th Army Support Command Soldiers gave its initial performance, its debut performance at the NCO Club in Mannheim.
I think that our first performance was singing for either an officers club, at an officers club function, or an NCO function, but I think it was an officers club function.
It was a Sergeant's Major's ball. It was a very big deal. And then the one where General Harris and his boss, General Hugh Harris, 7th Army Commander, and a number of other generals and VIPs, that was our second performance. And that was the one, we were pleased to have that first one, to get it, to run it through earlier in the evening, and then it was the second part of the evening that we actually sang for our boss.
Opened up with It's a Grand Night for Singing. Then we usually went into like Once in Love with Amy, which was General Harris's wife's name.
From the very beginning, we told the guys that we were going to be soldiers first and singers second, because that was our mission, was to be part of the U.S. Army and to be ready to go if we were called upon. So we wanted at any time that generals could walk in and could actually inspect our barracks, and that would look like a soldier, and to keep ourselves groomed and spit-shine shoes. And of course there was grumbling in the ranks, why do we have to do this? But we didn't want to run the same risk as the 7th Army Orchestra, which had been disbanded in the late 50s, because a general came in to the quarters and saw long hair musicians and that were in disarray, and he disbanded it on the spot.
We were in Taylor Barracks in Mannheim, Firth.
And we were building it up in the attic of this huge building. I call it an attic. It was a huge, huge place with, fairly large rehearsal rooms. We didn't have our own room. We built it maybe 5 or 6 to a room.
We started, now this is a long time ago, I say within a week, because a lot of logistics had to come about. We had to acquire pianos, music, and do all the stuff, red tape that you normally do when you're going through a transformation in the military.
We had duties, which was primarily just cleaning the barracks and getting your stuff. We had inspections, although they weren't very, very strict, very rigid inspections, and then we had section rehearsals, in which we went over our parts, and then Lieutenant Bond and Lieutenant Click, or Lieutenant Bond would come in, and then we'd have general rehearsal, and we would do that in the morning, and then break up for lunch, and then have another section rehearsal and try to iron out any problems in the afternoon. I
was a charter member in the first NCOIC of the course. I was involved in making sure they spit shined their shoes, kept good haircuts, clean uniforms, and adhered to all of the military, I don't know how to say it, to try to make soldiers out of good soldiers.
I was the papa of that phrase, friendship through music, and we had it on pins and things like that. I would say within the first month or so.
Alleluia, alleluia.